Hey guys, this is a quick sneak peek of the intermediate Greenman, which I call Surrounded by Leaves. This project is, again, a brief sneak peek into a longer project that I walk you through step by step. This project and many others like it is available on Fundamentals of Wood Carving in the link below, which I've put in the description. You can check that out. But without further ado, let's get into this project. If you're interested in this stuff and this stuff has captivated your soul like it has mine, there are intermediate, of course, beginner and advanced projects, all in effort to teach you about the portrait, the human portrait, from young and old, male and female projects there. So check that out in the link below. All right, so let's get into this sneak peek. Hey, so this project, originally spurred on by Wood Carving Illustrated, is an intermediate Greenman. Of course, I should say before I get too far, along the screen here you'll see the tools being listed out. These are the ones that you'll need to complete this within the realm of close to that size, right? You don't need to have the exact tool for that, for this project, that is. And so, anyway, Wood Carving Illustrated, they said, Greenman, we want a Greenman. So I went to work sketching something up on the iPad, and I've had it sitting there for a while, and I've been looking forward and looking for the right piece of wood to fit the carving in, and the time has come, and here we are. And this piece is a really fun one. I enjoyed carving it, and I like the way that the face is just sort of nestled in this 360-degree surround of leaves. So a great exercise, a kind of fun dip into the past, into the history of the Greenman as it shows up in architecture from the Middle Ages in Europe and England, you know, all over Europe and Asia Minor and all that. So anyway, enjoy this project. I hope you guys have fun with it, and I'd love to see the results. If you post on the Facebook forum, I'd love to see that. If not, feel free to email it to me or just enjoy it, share it with your family. And that's that. Thanks, guys. Let's get into it. Or use a larger tool, a tool that I'm not as concerned about getting dull, to clear the surface of the wood. And then in this case, I'm using a 1.5 inch, or I don't know, what is that, 36 millimeter number 2. 3 would work as well. And the goal here is to try and get the shapes of the leaves set in, and then to bring the face area in with a little bit more depth so that it gives a little bit more drama and makes the face appear as though it's kind of peeking out of the leaves. So I'm going to use this tool again just to kind of reduce the surface, not a whole ton here, but just enough to kind of get a presenting face of this piece of wood. Wanting to leave some of the framing around it. I don't want to get rid of all of that, so I'm kind of leaving an inch on either side. And maybe about that much or a little less, an inch or so of border on either side, just to make sure this thing is framed nicely. A mistake that most people make is they start to clear, or a lot of people make, not most, but start to remove too much of the extra material around the outside. And I think in a piece like this, especially a Greenman, you want the features to complement the piece. And, you know, those natural gray border, the natural character of the wood will shine through if you can leave some of it intact. All right, so I've got a nice little cleared area. You can see what that looks like. Okay, so there'll be about 2.5 inches or so of exposed area of the face, and so I can kind of mark that out. I'm going in, let's see, about 3 or so inches with the leaf here. Have a leaf coming down. I'm usually not this specific, and it doesn't need to be this specific. I'm just using the design that I have. In fact, I may bring it up just a little bit higher, believe it or not. I think my drawing is not exactly what I want. And so sometimes the gift of a drawing is you can kind of try something out before you make a more permanent line. Okay, so I'm just drawing a V shape here, and that's going to indicate the petals of or the leaf rather, the petals. I'm going to use a marker or something else because it's kind of hard to see what I'm pointing at here. Let's do this. There we go. That's a little stronger. So the goal here is to kind of start to think about the design of each leaf. Usually I'll start with one kind of shape. In other words, starting with what sticks out first and then layering beneath it. So I'll do one layer up high like so. And then I'll have a few others coming down, a few other leaves coming off to the side here. Another one like so. Actually, let me move this one down a little bit. So just kind of randomly design a few leaves, and I try to layer them. So these ones are going to stick out furthest, and you'll see as I go how this starts to take shape. I'm going to make these a little bit stronger of lines so you can really see what I'm doing here, because right now it just kind of looks random. Okay, so the face is going to live right in here, maybe a little bit over, like that. Let me just erase this with my handy dandy eraser. My line drawing skills aren't up to par today, but that's okay. So kind of draw a few leaves, and then I'll have a few down below here as well. So I'll just start drawing those. And what I meant earlier when I said 2.5 inches is we're probably going to have about that much at the lowest point. So probably 2 inches of presenting area here. We just want a little peek through. That's the goal, is to make this guy look like he's just peeking out. And we'll do another leaf here. And you can see it. I like to angle some of these leaves out. They don't all need to be in the same direction. So I'm trying to turn them so that they flow a little bit downward. I'll have maybe one here. Okay, so that's the idea. Got some kind of rough leaf shapes drawn in. And I'm going to start to outline them with my V-tool. Okay, I've got a little tighter of a shot here, and I cleaned up my lines so that it was a little more obvious where I was headed here. And again, these lines are totally random, and don't need to necessarily draw this all out in advance. But I'm using the 3mm, or what is this, 3 or 4mm 70-degree V-tool to go around, outline these shapes. And again, the goal here is to build layers into it. So it's not to outline all the shapes right away, it's to create a layer. So I'll go through, I'll establish this, I'll establish the lines, so it's not a problem to establish the lines, but what's important is to be able to make sure and tuck this one back in. You're going to have to reestablish it after a while. So anyway, we'll get to that point. So just outlining. And really I'm thinking about this as sketching, because otherwise you get too attached to the shapes and you get stressed out and you're not able to commit to any cuts. So I'm really just thinking about it as like getting a general outline or a shape, a guideline here. So these lines will get pushed around, they'll get changed, they won't be the same as they are now, so we don't get too attached to them.